Yeah, ignore that. Uh, cool. Let's get started. Okay, so my name is Jay, and I'm a product designer at Meta. And before we start, if any of you are wondering if I'm wearing earrings, these are not earrings, these are earphones. Or people have the question. But yeah, let's get started. So topic for today would be the real ROI of AI is solving for yourself. And let's get started. Yeah, before we get started, a little bit of a disclaimer. So the views, tools, and workflows presented here reflect my personal experience in optimizing my daily work outside of Meta and are not endorsed or affiliated with Meta. With that, let's get started. So we've all heard, all these hype where AI will 10x your productivity, AI will replace designers, just prompt and ship. But the reality is far from it, but thanks to all the hype and the polished AI demos that claim to be world-changing, we often find ourselves in what I call the grand innovation paralysis. This creates a psychological barrier where we feel like if we aren't building a billion-dollar startup or an idea or a tool that can solve a huge problem for everyone, we aren't doing it right with AI. But the TLDR is that we kind of mistake a limitation of the medium for the limitation of our own mastery. So to counter this, we need to stop waiting for AI to fix the world and start fixing your own friction. Build for the weird, the niche, and the hyper-specific annoyances that only you face. It might not scale. It might not disrupt an industry, and it might just matter to just you. But that's kind of a secret. Just by solving your own mess, you end up inspiring other people to solve their mess too.
I want to let you know that we can see your speaker notes. I don't know if that was
Oh,
purposeful.
oh, oh, oops. Okay, that's not. Let me try this again.
All good.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
I think you might need to have the speaker notes in a different window
yeah, that's
when
what
you're sharing.
I'm trying.
It's fine. There's always technical difficulties. It's a part of the process.
I don't know why this screen is not sharing.
Mm,
Let me try. It was weird that I was just sharing it with you earlier,
yeah.
and now it's not. Okay, last thing, let me try Chrome. Hmm, okay, do you see this? Okay,
Yes, perfect.
I guess Chrome is better.
I guess so.
Yeah, just let me know you still see the screen, right? Or nothing has
Yep.
changed.
Just the presentation looks great.
Okay, then see a second. Um, okay, so yeah, so reality is far from that. Thanks for all the hype, and yeah, the TLDR is that we kind of mistake the limitation of the medium for the limitation of our own mastery. Mm, okay, and okay, I think we covered all of this. So let's go next. So here's like a three-step framework that I use to figure out my own personal friction and boost my efficiency, or what the previous speaker, Shivasa, referred to as velocity, which is super important in today's world of AI, especially, everyone wants us to move fast. So the first step to this is audit. Identify the low value, repetitive tasks that drain your creative energy every day. The next one is brief. Convert your messy thoughts into sharp specs. Use AI to refine your intent into a clear plan. And last one is build. Pick a tool and execute the solution. Focus on rapid iteration rather than staying in one place. And this one, there's no particular order to this. You can skip steps, jump from one step to another, and do whatever fits your project and the project complexity. So yeah, so now I'll walk you through a few examples that made me go from AI is cool, I guess, to I can't work without this. So the first example is solve the silly thing. I was working on my portfolio and I needed to create wireframes for designs I never made, in the sense I directly jumped into the design instead of doing the wireframe. Some of you must be judging me right now, but I would say design is a non-linear process and you don't always have to follow steps if you don't have a reason for it. But then you know the drill, sometimes portfolio require that and some people expect that to be in your portfolio. So yeah, so I used ChatGPT back then to prompt a plugin. I skipped the briefing part in this case because it was kind of a simple plugin. The AI outputs a manifest.json file as an output, and you can simply upload that into Figma, and boom, you have a plugin. And if people are curious as to how that works, so ChatGPT would give out something called manifest.json. That's your file. You just open up Figma, go into plugins, development, and import plugin from manifest, and you have your plugin ready. And here's a video of how that plugin works. You click on a frame, a design, and it simply converts into a wireframe. Easy as that. So turns out, this wasn't just useful for me. The post received almost 600 plus likes. 153 designers commented saying that they had the same problem, and it was used by over 6,000 plus users on Figma. So the most personal thing I've ever shipped, or I thought was silly, was actually useful to many. Moving on. So second example, automate the grunt work. So I was working on a design system which had 200 plus components that used legacy color styles in Figma. I hope most of you know what color styles are, and I needed to migrate every one of them into variables so that I can enable features like theming, dark mode, and multi-brand support. Doing it manually meant you had to open each component, find every color reference, map it to the right variable, save, verify. And it's not just 200 clicks because there are 200 components. It's each component would have somewhere between 2 to 10 plus color elements. And that would mean 1,500 to 3,000 individual references to map and verify. And don't forget the human error part, especially when it comes to repetitive mundane tasks. So in this case, I decided to write down what I really wanted from this plugin because it was a little complex and I wanted to make sure that I was articulating it well. For example, I clearly say that clear a plugin that opens a pop-up with a start button, and when clicked, it goes through the entire page, looks for a component, an object that uses color styles, match the color. So I'm literally explaining it like how I would do it, go through the whole thing, go through the stuff and change things. And in the end, I've also added something like ask questions and plan this plugin with me so that I'm letting the AI know that this is not the final instruction. I would like you to fill up if there are things missing or if you don't understand the prompt. And then I just simply put that into Claude, and then Claude starts working with me and brainstorming with me and kind of articulating that plugin in a better manner, in a more detailed manner. And finally, I would just prompt it to create the plugin. And same process here. It would give out a manifest.json file and you upload it to Figma, and now you test it. And if it doesn't work, come back into Claude, just ask Claude about the problem, or you can even copy paste the problem, take screenshots, and just paste it onto Claude and try figuring it out. And this is how the plugin worked. So you just select the plugin, You select the frames that you want to convert into, and if you see on the right, they were all color styles before, and they just turned into variables now. So the plugin took half a day to build. The migration ran in under an hour. But if I were to do this the normal way, before AI, before building plugins, it would have roughly taken me around 150 hours, which is around 3 to 4 weeks of grunt work, instantly gone. The last and final example is building your own source of truth. So, yeah, I used to use Notebook LM. Some of you might be familiar with it to learn things. It's an amazing tool if you guys haven't tried it out. But it also hit me that if Notebook LM can take in any kind of files and links and consolidate them in one place, why not use it to manage my projects? So I fed it everything, my PRDs, meeting notes, design docs, researches, slide decks. And then I could just ask it questions like, what's the latest state of the project? Or what did we decide about a particular topic in a particular day or particular meeting? What are my open action items? Give me a 2-minute summary so that I can share with someone new so that they get a quick understanding. Create a copy for a desk to explain the project to key stakeholders and things like that. Yeah, so just this process of kind of accumulating these documents for a particular project ended up saving me 1 to 5 hours a week, which is the time that you would take to find the right document and get the right context. And at the same time, it also helped onboard new teammates or new members into the team where you could just share this entire Notebook LM file with all the required context, and they could simply prompt and find answers for themselves. So yeah, it made a lot of things possible where earlier all the documents were separated out across different platforms and softwares, but now you have this tool that can consolidate all of them in one place and give access to them to anyone you want. Miss this page. Cool. So those were a few of the examples that I wanted to kind of take you guys through to maybe inspire or spark some ideas while you guys begin your hackathon. But there are some extra tips that you could use to, again, make this whole process faster and improve your velocity. And this is a tool called Super Whisper, which converts your voice to text. We better articulate our thoughts when we speak than typing. And the more articulate a prompt is, the better your AI can serve you. Uh, so there are many tools. So Super Whisper is one. You have something called Whisper Flow. And recently I heard Google also came up with their own tool. And these tools are super smart. You can access them at any point. For example, you can just hold your command on your Mac and you can start talking and it converts it into text. Yeah, and I think someone told me that if you go into Claude's office, you would actually see their employees always whispering into their microphone, and they're basically doing this, just prompting their AI in a super fast manner. Okay, next one, OpenClaw. Again, some of you might have heard of OpenClaw. OpenClaw is an AI agent, and I believe agents are the future of managing work and your personal life. And unlike current AI tools, they have full access to your system if you give them, and they don't need to be prompted all the time. They are mostly proactive based on the instructions you give them. They can do things like keep an eye on your calendar, keep track of all your meetings, brief you before a meeting, proactively saying that, oh, last meeting, you guys discussed about this, and this person asked you to, submit a doc. Have you done it? So it would proactively come and give you these reminders. It would capture key decisions from meetings, give you end of day reviews, can act as your career coach, and keep an eye on your email, flag if there is something important. And the use cases are endless. So they can basically, have access to your whole system and you can go in and ask it to do a lot of stuff. And this basically, helped save me a couple of hours every day, just planning my day. But as of now, the only con is that they're a little hard to set up on your own. and kind of dangerous too, if you set it in the wrong way. But companies like Claude and OpenAI are building easier and safer and more contained ways to create agents and use them. So I would probably give it a few months until something comes up. Also, given the time you have for the hackathon, I would recommend not trying to set this up, especially since one of the recommended safest way to set up agents is in a new separate system, so that you don't want it to mess up any of your personal stuff in your personal computer, as agents can access a lot of things. And if you plan to set up later in the future, just ask Claude or ChatGPT how to set this up safely. It would give you options and guide you through it. Cool. So, what I want to leave you with today is the winners aren't chasing hype. They're not waiting for AGI or super intelligence to show up. They're not debating which model is the best. They're not reading another AI thought piece, uh, or watching an AI reel about something new. They're solving their own weird, specific, unscalable problems. Maybe one day AI builds everything for everyone, but today you build for yourself. And I think that's a real return on your investment. Yeah, and that's it for the presentation. Hope some of these will spark some interesting ideas to improve your velocity, as you go through this hackathon, because speed is important. And if you would like to get in touch with me, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much. What a very helpful talk, especially very relevant for the hackathon. I think we have two questions in the chat already, and then if anyone else has any questions, feel free to either put them in the chat or use the raise hand feature and we can call on you.
I see some question on the chat. Should we go to them?
Yes, we can start with Natalia's question. I wonder if you noticed any missed colors or inaccuracies at the end of the automation.
I mean, that's why you iterate fast. You kind of test it out. There would be inaccuracies because AI is not always 100% accurate in the first go, and that's where articulating your prompts in a detailed manner, or iterating fast comes into play. If you notice any issues, you can just go back into Claude or ChatGPT and just prompt it and ask it why. Just tell it that something like this happening. How can I solve for it or solve it? So it'll get to work. Okay, next one is, how reliable would you say these tools are, especially if you're not experienced or just starting in UX design? So the tool basically here is any of the LLM models. It could be Claude, ChatGPT, or any, or like things like Cursor, etc. Again, I think you would call something unreliable if you wanted to do something and it doesn't do that, and probably doesn't do that because you know the AI messed up something or it misunderstood some of your prompt. So that's where again the part of going back and iterating comes in. So if you notice any inaccuracies and issues, uh, just go back and ask the AI to fix it for you. To what extent would you use AI for user research? I use it a lot, especially I love to use Gemini's deep research feature, which is super useful because uh, you can just give it a small prompt as to what you want to research for, and it would create a research plan, and you can kind of examine that research plan, see if it covers all your topics, and then you can ask Gemini to go and research. It takes 15 to 20 minutes, but Gemini basically goes and scours the internet, looks at research papers, etc., and gives you probably like a 4 or 5 page long brief on that particular topic. So uh, yeah, it is good for research purposes. User research specifically, I don't think that's something that I have experience with. So maybe I wouldn't talk much on that. How are you personally using agents in your workflow, and what kind of use cases are you building agents for? Some examples would be great. So I think right now I use agents to just plan my day to day, kind of tell me, what do I have to do today, what's of priority. And like I said, before meetings, it alerts me about things like what was discussed in the previous meeting. If I need to come prepared for something, it can, again, since it have access to your whole system, you can ask it to create presentations right from, depends on where you set it up. You can set it up on your WhatsApp, on your Telegram, and it basically has access to your computer, and you can just be on your WhatsApp and say things like, oh, create a presentation on this topic, and it would start working on it in your computer. So I think the use cases are kind of endless, and you can create multiple agents. You can assign one agent as the coordinator and create other specialized agents. So if, let's say, you're a designer, you have a research agent, you have an agent to create presentations alone, you have a coordinator agent, you have a coder agent who is specialized in code. And when you give a task, you can say that the coordinator is in charge of dividing these tasks within the different agents. So if you give it like a coding task, the coordinator would ask the coding agent to, look into it. So now you have these multiple swarm of agents doing work for you. And yeah, you don't have to stick to one chat window where you're just constantly going back and forth with one agent. So when you have multiple agents, now you have these multiple context windows, and none of the agents are overburdened with so many requests like, oh, can you code, can you present, and things like that. So there's a lot you can do. I think you guys should definitely check it out online. There's a lot of resources to understand more about it. Hmm. In what ways do you see AI taking over the design industry in terms of job prospects, the type of work you're doing? Yeah, interesting question. Uh, like I said, uh, there's a lot of hype over AI. Like, what is promised is not exactly what is there right now. I mean, an interesting example that I came across was like an analogy is the first time, we discovered fire, let's say lightning struck a tree, fire was considered to be dangerous because we had no history of, how to use it or how was it used before. And it was considered to be destructive because, it's burning that tree. And I would say AI is in that stage right now where we have this new tool that's come up and we have no past history of, how it's been used, and we are still trying to figure out. But then currently we use fire to cook food, keep us warm, and do all this kind of stuff. And I think with time and making mistakes, uh, we would start realizing, how to actually use AI and work with AI rather than imagining a dystopian future where everything is AI, because it doesn't make sense. Okay. I think the agent's question has been answered. How am I using it? What are designers getting wrong right now about integrating AI into products? I don't think designers are doing anything wrong or anyone is doing anything wrong. Like I said, we just got this ball of fire, which looks dangerous, and we're trying to figure out how to use it. And everyone is just, scrambling, or not scrambling, but everyone is just trying their own ways or their own creative ways to create their own workflow. And this is a constantly changing field. Like every day, something new is coming in. And that's where, it goes to the fact that, you don't have to worry about the tools, but worry about your problems right now. What can be solved, or how can you become more efficient? How can you get rid of those boring tasks? And every AI right now can create a plugin or can, do things like that. So, and as long as the instructions are clear, it doesn't matter what model you're using and things like that. So nothing's wrong right now. Everyone's experimenting. Everyone's figuring out what works. But this experimentation is going to go on for long. So that's why, you shouldn't wait for something huge to come up. You just keep solving your own problems with what's there currently. have you had an AI agent that you ended up not using more later on? Especially how long did you use it for before it remains better to just not use it in your workflow? Uh, Nothing as of now. Okay, maybe I murmured the question. So the question is, have you had an AI agent that you ended up not using more later on? Specifically, how long did you use it for before determining it's better to just not use it in your workflow? Nothing as of now, because even agents are fairly new uh, into my workflow. And what I have right now, it's pretty useful, especially to plan my day. So yeah, I haven't come across an issue where I felt it's not useful. But again, it's all trial and error. Different people are creating different set of agent teams. So maybe you might not realize you don't need an agent to write content because maybe you don't write a lot of content, or your main agent can do it, and you just kick out that agent.
I think
For
Ulrich has a question. He's raising his hand, and then we can go back
yeah,
to the chat after that.
yeah, cool.
All right, and thank you very much. So Jay, thank you for the presentation. It was really amazing. Here's my question. As a product designer based in Cameroon, West Africa, right now it's really difficult because in the past, most stakeholders or business owners didn't really see the value of design. So design just came up as some kind of add-on because it was kind of good to have. And today with the AI hype and the designers are cooked hype, um, most of these stakeholders and managers now can get the stuff done easily with platforms like Lovable, V0, or Base44, where they can now just prompt their way out. And today, my work, for instance, is really undervalued, and working in such conditions actually sucks of the fun out of this profession. And I was wondering how can we remedy the situation? Because I as a designer know the bigger picture of what exactly AI is up to within the industry, but they are just following the hype and it's really difficult.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think everyone's role as designers, PMs, engineers are kind of evolving right now. Like you're no longer just a designer, you are in a way a little bit of a PM and an engineer because you have these AI tools. And that's the kind of trend that's starting to show up where now people want more individual contributors than managers, etc. So they basically want a manager to maybe manage more people right now, but they want more individual contributors because everyone can now contribute a lot more. With the AI tools, they can do a little bit of coding, a little bit of PMing. So I would say I think we need to evolve with that, uh, a kind of pick up these skills, especially with AI. Like it becomes easier to create. Let's say earlier convincing stakeholders or talking in meetings, creating great presentations were necessary for product designers. You would have PMs to do that, or even writing PRDs, etc. But now with AI, you can actually tell it what makes a great presentation, and you can pull out a presentation based on your audience, and you can present that. You don't really need a PM's help to create those presentations. Uh, and even right now, designers are also making changes to code. Let's say not major changes. Designers are kind of empowered to make uh, minor changes. Like let's say you're on your website and you see the font size is wrong or the color is wrong. Now, earlier you would need to tell that to an engineer to go and do it, but now there are tools that could empower you to just make that change, push the diff, get it reviewed, and put it out there. So I think everyone's evolving. I think what we should be doing is showcasing these things to prospective employers, like how you are solving for yourself, because anyone can go into AI and just say that create an Amazon app, and it would create exactly the same app. But is that useful to anyone? Not really. Did you have any impact creating a replica of Amazon? Besides wasting a lot of tokens? Not really. So I would say focus on these things, like try solving your own problems, because now you can quantify an impact by solving your own problems. You know that this thing would have taken you at least 5 days a year ago, but now it took you one day or it took you 1 hour. So it's almost like, a lot of X uh, improvement in your productivity. So that would be one way to kind of showcase to your employers or hiring managers, etc., that you can create impact using AI, and it's not just the hypey part of, oh, I can create an entire app.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Thank you very much, Jay.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot where I left
We
last.
left, I think the question we left off on is from H. For AI design workflow, how do you make the AI improve the design without making the design generic?
Uh, that is tough. Again, everything goes into how you prompt it, and there's a good chance that it might still look generic, and that's why I would say AI is still not there, because AI can't create something novel out of nowhere because it's learning from past data, and what is learned from past data, that's what it's going to replicate. I think, for example, I forgot, was it like a new Amazon logo or something that they created with, they used like the inspiration of the river, etc. And if you asked AI to create a logo for Amazon, it would probably put in some trees and, some water bodies and things like that. But you wouldn't have imagined, these set of water rivers flowing and, creating creating a pattern which kind of represents Amazon. So yeah, I don't know if I have a clear answer to how to exactly improve design, but right now I feel it's not there in terms of creating novel ideas. It can definitely create something that's already there. With AI now able to generate UI and basic prototypes so quickly, how do you see the role of wireframing evolving in the design process? Is it still worth doing, or does skipping straight to AI-generated prototypes improve velocity? In what cases do you think wireframing is still essential? It's a good question. Um, I think it all comes to, again, the idea of articulating your thoughts. Um, what you have in mind is what the AI is going to do. And if you think you can better articulate using AI and prompting, you can try that. Uh, but one of my biggest issues with, prompting with AI is you never get into a state of flow, because you prompt once and you probably come back after 2 or 3 minutes. You probably look at your Instagram reels and you come back and see the output. So you never get into flow. You can't get into flow if you keep getting interrupted every 5 seconds or every 1 minute. And getting into flow is important for humans to come up with interesting ideas and understand concepts, and things like that. And that's where I would say, if you want to get into a state of flow and generate as many ideas as possible, a pen and paper would still be better. Uh, I think, again, to the last speaker's point, where he was mentioning don't directly jump into design. I think the main problem to solve is, what are you actually solving for, and understanding what's the requirement. And I think that should be done outside of AI. You can brainstorm with AI, but pen and paper, or writing your ideas down in a document and things like that, still has a place. What do you use for your different agents? OpenClaw? Yeah, I think right now I've just been using OpenClaw, but I've heard Claude coming up with their agents, and that is starting to get good. So yeah, I would say give it a few more months, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of players that help you set up agents in a much better manner. Do you think in the AI era, people need to learn basics like for web dev, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Uh, I think it's always good to understand. Me personally, I can read and understand code like HTML, CSS, but not, create something on my own from scratch. And it's been helpful if I want to understand what's happening in code, if I take a look at it. But in my opinion, it's not a necessity right now, especially because AI does a lot of debugging and understanding the code. So if you're a designer, I would say it's not the most necessary stuff to kind of, get started coding, especially right now. Can AI help identify hidden behavioral patterns or identifying more pain points in the user data that we could possibly miss? You can try. You can just, I mean, that's a crazy thing about AI. Like you don't know how much it is capable of. It is actually capable of a lot of things until you try it, or just ask it. Like, you know, you could just ask AI this exact same question. Like, go into Claude and you can ask it, like, can you help me identify hidden behavioral patterns in this document? And it'll tell you if it can, and it might even uh, prompt you to, or it might even ask you to uh, try these different ways, and then you can input your data and just follow what it says. Do you jam with AI during ideating and brainstorming? Is it good in generating new good ideas? I think new good ideas is a complicated term. Like, I might not be aware of a lot of things, so that might be a new good idea to me. It may or may not be novel, but it'll definitely give me an understanding of what's out there currently, what's already been done, instead of, let's say, doing something and thinking it's novel, but someone has already done it. Uh, yeah, so I do use AI to jam, especially with tools like Whisperflow or Super Whisper. It's kind of a little bit more easier to share with AI what I'm thinking. So it could be like a huge paragraph, and no one really likes to type in huge paragraph. And every time I type, I find myself typing only 1 or 2 lines. But when you speak, it's like 2 or 3 paragraphs. So that's a good way to brainstorm with AI. How do we or can we validate AI generated insights to ensure they reflect real user needs? Uh, I think you'll have to vet it by yourself. Uh, Again, I would say you should never trust AI data 100%. You should always do some background check or at least see if it is adding any reference link, because hallucination is still a thing. So it might not always be 100% accurate. Um, and right now there are AI tools that you can use to generate personas, but I've never used them, so I don't know how effective they are. But I'm sure you know, if you want to do something quickly, it might help to kind of get the general sentiment of the population. But talking to people always gives you that, a little bit of extra empathy and understanding to their problem rather than just reading through something that AI generated. How do you stay updated on AI and tool updates, and how do you go about training individual agents? How do I stay updated? I think, frankly, when I feel overwhelmed with all these AI updates that comes in every day, uh, I mean, one of my sources for update is Instagram. Whenever I'm on Instagram, I think my feed is mostly AI stuff, which is overwhelming. Uh, and I don't end up trying all of them. Uh, I would just try the tools that I have right now and I think are good or the best, and try to make the best use out of it, unless a new tool comes in and you realize it can do something more than the existing tools. For example, right now Claude has Figma MCP in it, so you can prompt Claude to create designs or
read designs or evaluate your designs directly from Figma. So in that case, I would probably use Claude more because I'm on Figma a lot more rather than, let's say, tools like ChatGPT, etc. But always good to experiment in your free time, but I would agree it's overwhelming. And if you don't end up doing it, it's fine. Uh, Again, it's about solving those problems that you have, and a lot of tools can do it in different ways. How do you go about training individual agents? So agents, they just learn from experience, like whatever you ask them to do, they have a history of all of it, and you can also give them personalities, how they should talk, and what are their expertise. If you have an agent to create presentations alone, you can maybe feed it a YouTube video on how to make great presentations. And now, it'll have that data and it will make sure all your presentations check those boxes. Will you share the presentation or the recording with us? I I guess yes. It's embarrassing my speaker not so visible, but I don't know, maybe AI can remove it. Uh, this talk will be uploaded. Okay, cool. For tomorrow's producthon, what would you suggest? Noise in UI UX do? Okay, for tomorrow's producthon, what would your suggestions be for a novice in UI UX? And do you think there's a way for even a beginner to win the producthon? Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, Suggestions for novice for producthon. I think that's a good question. Let me think. Mm, I think a good thing about AI is you don't have to depend on someone else to give you feedback. Or if you want some immediate feedback on your design, like how does it look? Because uh, what's the word? Mm, Craft comes with experience, but now you can, check for craft with AI to ask with AI also. You can just create a design and ask AI what it thinks about the design in terms of, using all the design principles or UI principles, and can point out what can be better. Maybe things like, oh, instead of using a 5 pixel spacing value, stick to 4 pixel because that's industry standard, or multiples of four. So at least, even if you're a beginner, uh, you can still create, great looking designs just by, reviewing it with AI, whereas previously that was not possible, where you need to practice and you need time to kind of get to that level of craft. So can a beginner win a Proton? I'm 100% sure they can. So yeah, and I guess the ideas also matter. And now that you have this tool like AI where you can spin off any idea that you want, I think if you have a strong idea, I think that's what matters the most. Do you still ship Figma prototypes or AI prototypes? A little bit of both, actually. I think Figma prototypes are useful, but AI prototypes are faster. Like, for example, if you want to quickly show an engineer, how this feature works, I think AI prototypes are good. Uh, and in some cases, that's enough because they're still prototypes. They're not going to be used in the real world. So I, I don't get the point of shipping Figma prototypes because I think prototypes to me were like always temporary, as long as they kind of show uh, what's intended to be shown. Uh, and AI prototypes do it, especially, Figma also has AI prototyping in them right now. Could you say a final summary breakdown of which ones you use the most and for what use cases? Like, what do you use for notebook LLM? Like OpenClaw for what exactly? How do you mitigate the security hazards? So Claude, I think most of my work related stuff, I use Claude, especially the Claude code. um, because it has access to Figma. It has Figma MCP installed in it, and is easier to ask it to. You can even do things like analytics on Figma. Like if you can't find like Figma analytics is not so great. You can actually ask Claude to go into Figma and do things like, oh, find all the components that's been detached, or find the most used components. And it can go through your Figma file and get those data for you. Or you can even ask it to pull all the color styles and put it into an Excel sheet. It can do that. So yeah, I think right now, like I mentioned, you don't realize how powerful these tools are. It's just about asking if they can do it, or asking the tools what are they capable of. Security hazards with OpenClaw. So if you ask Claude to help you set up OpenClaw, it'll give you like a warning, and it would recommend that you set it up in a different system. So you would have to buy a separate MacBook or a PC and set it up in there. So you would create your own email. You would create a separate email ID for your agent so that you can use that email ID to, plan tasks, etc. So yeah, I would say just prompt an AI to help you set it up and it'll walk you through the steps. Do you think it's important for Swiss to learn coding languages in today's world when AI can do all coding? Uh, I'm not a software engineer, so I can't answer to this, but I'm 100% sure it's important for Swiss to learn how to code, even if there's AI. I don't know if you guys saw this recent post where an engineer had to uh, had to erase, I think, 6 months worth of coding that was done by his AI agent because he wanted to include a new feature and the AI couldn't understand how to do it. And when he went into the code base, he couldn't understand what the AI has done. Like it was like he mentioned it as it being hell, and he basically had to wipe off 6 months of work and code it from scratch. So in times like those, if you don't know how to code, it's going to be super hard.
Awesome. I think that
Okay,
is all the questions we have, unless you got any personal questions.
me?
Yeah,
No,
personally.
I think,
Okay.
hmm, yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time. That was extremely helpful. And yeah, as someone who is gonna do Sweet, I think you have to know coding because AI is just gonna hallucinate and you need to be able to double check the work before you push the code. So I would say
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Um,
always double check.
yeah, yeah. I have some closing remarks. I'm gonna take over the screen sharing real quick. Let's
Oh, yeah, let me stop sharing.
see. All right. Thank you so much for your talk, Jay. As some of you guys know, we have a lot more UX talks coming up. Tomorrow we have seven from 10 a.m. to 4:30, and this is in Pacific time. So feel free to come for those. They will all be extremely helpful, especially for those participating in the hackathon. And yeah, register for those. This session will be recorded. We'll share it via email, and we will upload it to our YouTube as well. And yeah, we will also provide a feedback link through Luma. And please share feedback about this talk if you have any feedback about how it went. We're always willing to, better our talks. So any feedback is helpful. And if you enjoyed the session, share your experience on LinkedIn or Instagram. Tag the speaker Jay, tag Dubs Tech, tag Design Buddies. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope to see you guys all at the Protothon tomorrow and for all the talks. Thank you so much, Jay, again. It was an amazing talk. We really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, love the questions, like super insightful ones.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, it's already Saturday at a lot of places, I guess. So tonight, the talks will be tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Bye-bye.
I'll put his LinkedIn in the chat. Give me a sec. All right, just posted his LinkedIn in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let me know if you have any questions about the schedule tomorrow or anything like that. Opening ceremony will be at 9 a.m. Pacific timing. I don't know what timing that is for all you guys, but it might be tonight. That is where you'll receive the team building or the team registration form, so you guys can register your teams if you have them. Um, the feedback form is actually through Luma, so where you're registered through is where you'll submit feedback through. And yeah, tomorrow we'll have our opening ceremony. You'll get the talks, you'll get all the requirements for all the prompts and everything like that. And then you guys can start building and you can attend all the talks throughout the day as well. 10:30 p.m. Yeah. We wish that we could accommodate for everyone. Yeah, we really wish, but all the talks are recorded. Opening ceremony will be recorded and closing ceremony will be recorded. So if you're sleeping, no worries. Does anyone have any other questions? General questions about tomorrow or today, I guess? If not, thank you guys so much for coming. Oh yeah, Ulrich.
All right. So tomorrow's session, is are we going to have a team building session or
So basically, we will have our opening ceremony at 9 a.m. and then at 9:30 is a team building session for those who still want to find teammates. So if you don't have a team yet, then you can join and you can meet a bunch of other people and form your team. If not, you'll just break out into design or join our talk at 10 a.m. So team building is only for those who still need a team.
all right, thank you.
Mhm. Yep, and then submissions are on Sunday, May 3rd, 1:30 p.m. or whatever that means for you guys. Yeah, we'll go a lot more in depth during the opening ceremony. If nobody
Okay.
has, sorry.
Okay, so officially, when are we getting started?
So 9 a.m. opening ceremony, that'll be around 15, 20 minutes. You'll get all the
Yeah.
things you need to start building. After that, you're good to go. So you can either join the talks, you can work on the other side while you're joining the talks. You don't have to join the talks either. You can just design. But yeah, you'll have the entire day to design right after the
All,
opening
all
ceremony.
right. That's great.
Mhm. You won't receive an email confirmation that you've registered your group. That'll be through the team registration form. But if you want me to double check, you can send me a message on Discord and I can just make sure your response went through. I don't think the form sends you an email confirmation after you've registered. The form will be shared during the opening ceremony. Some people already had it because they went to team building yesterday, but no worries. It'll be shared during the opening ceremony. We'll post it in the Discord. We'll have a QR code and everything. Yeah. Good night. Good morning. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to end the Zoom meeting. I will see you all tonight or tomorrow. And yeah, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to message on our Discord in the questions and answers channel.
Okay, please, before you leave, if you've already registered your team, but and then someone reaches out, let's say for instance, when I was building my team, I reached out to several bunch of people, and just some few responded, and now I got my team registered, and those who didn't respond right now are asking like, what should they do? Should they try and look for other teams, or can I still add them? I don't know.
So as long as you don't have like the max amount of people is 5 people per team. So as long as you don't have more
Right.
than 5, you can resubmit the team registration form, and it's not that big of a deal because in the submission form due on Sunday, you will re-enter who your teammates are. So
All right.
even if you do add someone today, it's fine because in the submission form you will tell you will tell who's part of your team for the final submission.
Okay, great.
For the prototype, so we don't have any AI constraints. I mean, we always just say it's good to use it for thinking, but you are not allowed to submit an AI prototype link. So you are only allowed to submit Figma links and a slide deck link. I think there's a few other tools that you can use, but you're not allowed to submit like any lovable links or anything like that. But we don't have any constraints for using AI. The tracks will not be assigned. However, I would recommend not starting until the opening ceremony because we will give you the requirements that are needed in each of the tracks. There are a lot more requirements than what are just said on our website. So I would recommend waiting because there's some requirements per track, but you get to pick your track. We don't assign you a track. Where can you find teammates? If you join our Discord channel, Neil, if you can put the Discord channel in the chat, there's a Find Team Discord, and you can basically look for teammates there. Just text in the chat like who you are, what you want to do. You can find teammates there. If not, tomorrow at 9:30, we will have a team building session, which is for all of those people who haven't found a team yet. So 9:30 a.m. in Pacific time. So I don't know what that is for you guys, but there is no maximum or minimum. It's totally up to you for the amount of screens. Marie, did that answer your question? Awesome. Any other last questions? If not, thank you so much. I'm so excited to see your guys' projects. Jay and Shiva are also judges, so yeah, keep that in mind too. And pretty much all the speakers tomorrow are also judges, so if you want to start talking to them, that's up to you. All right, thank you guys so much. See you soon. Get some rest today. Bye bye.